उसका लिंक दोबारा से डालने की जरूरत तो नहीं है?
नहीं, जरूरत नहीं होनी। ऑलरेडी इतने लोग आ गए तो आप समझ सकते हैं कि दे आर ऑल जस्ट पुश्ड इट डायरेक्टली।
हाँ, people are eager.
Last 1 minute, then you can start.
So right now we have 32 people, no?
Yeah.
I think people will keep coming in the first 15 minutes at least.
Yes, because some people may reach late from their office and also.
So session is already started for recording now. Exactly 7:05 you can start now.
Okay.
Now you can start.
Okay. Hello everyone. Pleasure to meet you all. Thank you, Shalane, and thank you, Samir. It is such a great opportunity for me to be sitting in front of you with such an overwhelming response. And I'm talking about my favorite subject, which is NLP. And it is about our subconscious mind, which is our best friend, and its impact on our lives. So I really don't know how many of you have heard about NLP, but it is a way of life. As we say in some of the religions, it is a way of a life. So NLP is a way of life. So I thank Shalane and his entire team once again to not only invite me, but organize it so smoothly that I just had to come and plug in. Okay, so I would like to start with a story of a carpenter. This is a true story of a carpenter, which is Chris Myler. And this guy was working in his organization for 20 years. And suddenly he decided that he wanted to take retirement. What he used to do was create houses, build houses. And he went to his owner and told him that he wanted to retire. Now, the owner was not happy because he was losing a good performer, a good employee. So he said, okay, can you make one more house? So Chris Myler stayed on, but he was not very happy because he already had plans and he started to build one more house. But his heart was not in it. His heart was not into building the house, and he was not choosing the right furniture. The cement mixture was not right. He wasn't really doing what he used to do for the original models. He did not create a swimming pool. However, he finished the house and then he handed over the keys to the owner. The owner called him on the last day. And can you imagine what he did? He handed over the keys to Chris. And he said, this is a gift for you from the organization. And Chris was shocked and he did not know what to say and whether to thank him. And then he said, oh my God, if only I knew that this house is going to be my house, I would have done it differently. And this is what happens in our lives. Every time we hammer a nail, we erect a wall, we create a board. Every time we do that, we are building the house of the future. So the attitudes and the choices we are making today will help us build the house we live in tomorrow. So life is a DIY project. It's a do-it-yourself project. Therefore, we have to make sure that we build our houses of future wisely. Okay, so who am I? And what we are going to talk about. So my name is Nishi Shetty, and I'm in UAE for last 20 years, since 2000. I come from India, and I stay in Abu Dhabi with my husband. My son studies his master's, and he is in Australia. So my passion is to do self-development, to learn self-development, to eat, cook, breathe self-development. My passion is to do coaching, help people from all walks of life. So when did my journey start? I had a very successful journey last 23 years. I would say it was a steady journey. You know, so steadily I grew in my organizations, and I did a fair job. I did well. I was an HR professional, people development professional, and I worked across industries. In UAE, I worked in GSE, which is a logistics company, Futtaim training organization. I worked with big construction groups like Laing O'rourke. And then lastly, I was attached to Saint-Gobain, which is a French organization, which is a construction company into manufacturing. However, what I'm trying to say here is the life was not as rosy always. It was a day in 7/7/7, 7th July 2007, when I met with a road traffic accident. I was going to my office, and it was only a few days later I realized I was in the hospital, and I learned through colleagues of mine who were behind my car that my car rolled over a couple of times and my body was out of the car. Now, what had happened after the accident? My life turned upside down. I was in the hospital for 21 days in ICU, 4 months in bed, minus 20 kgs from what I am today, 7 fractures. My brain is half of a normal person's brain. And the doctor said it's a disease called atrophy, which normally people get during the old age. And this disease, basically, you lose your memory, your motor skills, your cognitive functions, and so on and so forth, which happens in the old age. But because of the trauma, I got it early. Obviously, I was shocked. My vocal cord was paralyzed, one of them. And it was very difficult for me to stand at that time. I wasn't sure whether I will walk ever again. But the thing that remained in me was my passion for life, my passion to move on. And then somebody told me, a friend of mine from my office, she came to me and she said, Nishi, I've heard about NLP. And another friend of mine, a colleague, ex-colleague, she gifted me 4 books. And one of them was The Secret by Rhonda Byrne. And I started to read it, and my life transformed since then. Anyway, so the journey continued, and I got my certifications in NLP. I'm a master practitioner in neuro-linguistic programming. I have psychometrics of 4 place areas. So MBTI, DISC personality profile, SHL, and Civil Wave. I'm a certified coach, and also I am certified and expert in emotional intelligence. So this is the story of my life. And these are some of my certifications. I'm NLP certified since 2000. It is a way of life for me, and it is a subject of interest. I love this subject, and I love talking about it. Okay, so what are we going to talk about today? We have a lot of stories, and we have a lot of examples so that you can actually relate to it. How many of you have heard about an experiment by a Japanese research doctor, Dr. Masaru Emoto? He had done this experiment, and I was watching these videos of this rice experiment, and I am seeing that a lot of people are doing it in everyday life just to learn it and see for themselves that it really is true. So he took 2 jars, and I was seeing a lady who took 3 jars basically. So 1 jar, he put rice of the same quantity, the same amount of water in the same physical environment, light, etc. And on one of the jar, he wrote love, and on the other, he wrote hate. And what he started doing was every day he would say, I love you to the first jar of love, and he would pass the blessings and his feelings. And whenever during the day he felt love and fondness for anybody, he would pass that energy to this first jar. And on the other hand, the hate jar, he would yell and shout and pass on the negative energies and emotions to this jar. And during the day, wherever he would be, if he felt angry or sad or guilty or any negative emotions, he would just pass it on to this jar. On the 27th day, when he saw the jars, I mean, he was watching the jars every day, but on 27th day, he made a special note. This is what he saw. He had not done anything to the jars. They were sealed. In the first jar, the rice was white and it was like glowing, and it hadn't rotten, although it was not edible because it was 27 days outside. But the rice was white, as you can see it. And the other jar, it had many different kinds of molds, which was black and brown and then white. and it looked something like what you see in the picture. So the emotions that he was passing on to the jars had actually created a difference physically. And this was amazing. And this is the truth of life, that whatever emotions we pass around, it is an energy and it really impacts the things around us, the things, the people. And this is a clear example. So we got to be very, very careful. And this is the first lesson of NLP. Now, what is NLP and who was the founder? So Richard Bandler and John Grinder, they were the founders of NLP. They were co-creators who started in 1979. So Richard was born in 1950 and John Grinder, who's senior, was born in 1950. Richard was 22 when he joined John Grinder as his research student. And both of them started to work on NLP and then co-created this. Later on, they split because there was a copyright issue and they went to the court and they split, but both of them are doing NLP training still. They actually, when they were working together, they wanted to find out how the successful people were achieving their successes. Because success is a pattern, it is a habit, it is a trend. If you see, there are some people who are attracting money all the time. They lose their money, they lose their job, they lose their business, and they go back again on attracting money. Similarly, in relationships or jobs. And similarly, there are stories of the failures. They damage all their relationships or they lose all their money, no matter how much they get, but again, keep losing it. So it's a trend. And these two guys, they actually were researching on that, why it happens, how it happens. Okay, so that's about NLP. Now, what is NLP? NLP is neuro-linguistic programming. What it is a science, yeah, it is about quantum physics. And I'll explain you in the coming slides what is quantum physics. So neuro is the thinking process. As we all know about neuro, it is the thought process of programming in a mind. Yeah, and the linguistic is the language, the way we use a language and how it influences the people around. And the programming is the programming of the mind. And how the programming happens is the belief systems that are created from the time we were born. Do you know that the maximum belief systems are created when we are 7 years old? And after that, it is nurtured or it is damaged or it is changed. But the maximum and the most powerful belief systems are created when we are children. So that is why a lot of times parents are told, hey, be careful when you are talking in front of your children because everything is going into their subconscious mind. So that's about NLP. Everything can be is a program and it can be reprogrammed. So reprogramming, or the science of reprogramming through language, through thoughts, belief systems, is NLP. Now, why NLP? Yeah, so why do we need to learn it? Now, I will ask you to think of a pink elephant with a blue trunk, okay? Think of a pink elephant with a blue trunk, all right? Now, I want you not to think of a pink elephant. What are you thinking? Write to me in the chat box. Please do not think of a pink elephant. It is very simple instruction given by me. So what are you thinking? Where is your mind going? I'm just waiting for you to write in the chat box. What are you thinking? Pink elephant, pink elephant, pink elephant. Yes. And why is that? Why are we thinking of pink elephant when I'm asking you not to think of a pink elephant? Another analogy I would take is of a small child when he is always, he's crawling and he's always going to an electric switch. What do the parents do? They say, do not go there, do not go there, do not go there. And the child again is attracted to go to the electric switch, which is a danger zone. What should the parents say instead? So if the parents say, hey, let's go to the kitchen and see what mama is doing. Let's play with your teddy bear and bring the toy actually. and the child will actually come. So subconscious mind, which is our little brother, does not process nots. It does not process negative. It does not process do not. When we say to someone, hey, don't worry, don't worry. Yeah, so somebody has lost his job. Today, the subject of discussion and the example that I'm going to take is job insecurity, because that's more relevant in the current scenario. So about the job insecurity, so if you said, hey, do not worry, to the person who's just lost his job, do you think he will stop worrying? Instead, if you say, hey, let's do these 5 things and let's go to this seminar and we'll learn, what will happen to his emotional state? He will have a positive hope. He will get hope. He will get positive emotions. So this is what happens when we talk to somebody not to think about something. So this is rule number 1, which is support versus sabotage. And what does this mean? Now, rule number 1, NLP rule is actually NLP frames, and I'm saying it in like rule number 1. I'm not looking at the chat box right now because I don't want to be distracted, but if you have any questions, you can keep it till the end and you can note down. Okay, so in the end, we'll have a question and answer sessions. Okay, so what support versus sabotage means, every time you have to ask yourself whether your thoughts are empowering or disempowering. Okay, so is it taking you to the goal or is it taking you against the goal? So are you supporting your goal, or you are sabotaging or damaging your goal through your language, through your emotions, through your physical activity? And that's the NLP rule number 1. Now, the wheel of life. This is one slide and one thing that I always start my every coaching session and workshop, because this is what highlights where in the life you are. Now, what is this wheel of life? Now, imagine this is your wheel of life. Okay, so create different sections to this wheel of life, whatever you want. So health and fitness, money, career, social friends, love, spirituality, personal growth, whatever. Now, you can also create a wheel of career. You can create a wheel of employability, wheel of leadership, wheel of family, wheel of fun, wheel of student life. What happens is you will be adding in the sections which are relevant to that particular topic. And then what you do, the center is 0, and at the border, the circumference is the number 10. Now, between 0 to 10, you will rate yourself in each of the section. Okay, so it could be 7 or 8. So for example, you might think in relationships, you're 9. And in career, you are 8 or you are 4. Or in social and fun, you are 3. So you will rate yourself, and then you will join all the dots. What you will get is a topsy-turvy wheel, an unbalanced wheel. And this wheel is your life wheel. So what do we actually need? We need a wheel which is smooth. Now, does that mean we should have the score of 10 in every section? No, probably it's not possible. But you should have a smooth wheel. So 9 in all sections, or 8 or 6. Because what we are trying to say here is that you are giving equal attention to all areas of your life. So if one area in your life is going downward, it impacts all the other areas. And then the next step is, after you have done this rating, and then you have observed which are your low scoring areas, in this case, social and friends and hobbies, you will basically pick up these areas and then prepare an action plan. What are you going to do to increase the rating? Okay. Now, today I'm going to call in my virtual friend, Rahul, that's his nickname, to hide his identity. And he was my coachee. Yeah, he was my client. And he underwent a journey. So I will take his examples today. And he picked up in his wheel of life, he picked up career. Okay, so we started to work on his career area and started to do this action. So this is one exercise. You can either use the software, or you can Google, or you can draw it manually. It's a very simple technique. Now, my question to you here is, what zone you are in? In life, all of us are in either of this zone. There's an awful zone there's a comfort zone and there's a brilliant zone. 80% of the people are in comfort zone, yeah, because it is an easy zone. So what is an awful zone? The awful zone is the point of no return. This is a place where the pain gets so bad, it's really at its worst, that you finally have to take an action. You have absolutely no choice but to get up. It is the zone where things would not become any further bad, you know, it will not be any worse. And then what is comfort zone? Most of us are in comfort zone. The life is easy. We are doing what we continue to do. We are living the life of second best. And these people, because they don't know how to get out of the comfort zone, and they don't have the courage to do anything about changing the situation. Life feels familiar, comfortable, unfulfilling, and stuck. Now tell me, how many of us like certainty? And how many of us would like uncertainty? All of us like certainty, isn't it? The same office, the same place, the same route to the office, the same place. If you're going to a seminar for 3 days, for example, every day, if you have a choice, you'll sit at the same place. So we all like certainty. We all like knowing, and we don't like to be in uncertain zone. However, in the long run, if you are not growing, it doesn't give you fulfillment. When I was in HR and I used to work on the retention strategies in the organization, I used to say, there are two things that would keep people in an organization. Obviously, one is their basic needs to be fulfilled, their want of money, and they want promotions and growth. But more than that, they want growth in all aspects of the areas. They just don't want to learn about how to do the job. They want to learn much more than that, because they want to grow, and the actual fulfillment comes only when people are growing. Do you agree with me? Now, what is brilliant zone? Brilliant zone, or the growth zone, is an area where you draw in a deep breath, kick off your shoes and start dancing as if no one is watching. You are doing the personal development, learning, self-development, something, giving a shock to yourself, or coming out of the comfort zone, something different every day. When I say shock, there are people who start to take a cold shower every day because they just want to give themselves a shock treatment and tell themselves, I can do it. People doing a fire walk, people doing skydiving, because they want to face that fear. The best thing to remove fear is to face the fear. And that's the real zone where you get fulfillment. Okay, now we are going to be talking about our two minds that all of us have, the conscious and the subconscious. Now, this lady who's Anna, yeah, so she is, let's assume she is the conscious mind of ours. Now, whenever she has a habit, wherever she's stuck in a traffic, this is, she's on the traffic signal, whenever she's there on the traffic signal, she would always pop out of a window and say hello to the person next to her car. She would always say hi, because, why? Because her belief system says, friendliness creates happiness and joy. She likes to make best use of her time. She thinks traffic jam is nobody's fault and we all should be happy during these hours. Her value is kindness and relationships. That's her first value. And she has created a habit. She likes to smile at random people and creates happiness. Now, when somebody is doing this, it is not only a conscious action, because what we see is a conscious action, a smile, a hello, but it is coming because of her belief systems and her values inside. And here is my good friend, Rahul. Now, whenever he's stuck into a traffic jam, he is having traffic aggression. Yeah, so he is always shouting and yelling because his belief system says traffic is someone else's fault. If you shout, people will listen. His values are reaching in time is more important than kindness. And the habit is traffic aggression is normal. Don't we hear that? All of us, so many of us who do this Sharjah and Dubai traffic every day, many of us have seen this so much. And if you don't shout here, because in UAE you don't shout, you can't shout, but you have an internal aggression. So let's say this is subconscious. Now, both of them, whatever you're seeing on the conscious level is because of the subconscious. Because the iceberg model says only 10% of what you see is the conscious mind, and the 90% is buried inside your subconscious, which is of beliefs and values and habits and emotions. And we are going to learn more about it. And as I said, all of these beliefs and values are created by the age of 7, and then it is nurtured or it is damaged as we grow old. And a subconscious mind is 30,000 times more powerful than your conscious mind. So what is the learning from this slide? The learning from this slide is work on your subconscious rather than the conscious. And this is about NLP. Okay, so there are 4 pillars of NLP. One is the rapport pillar. Rapport is about relationships, how you can create comforting relationships with people. And when Rahul learned this, he became so good in his relationships with the customer, because he became adept at learning, building the rapport through his voice, his tone, his body, his physiology, that he just loved this magical technique. The second one is sensory awareness, which is about observing the body language, the emotions, the tones, the non-verbal language of the people, whether they're on the phone, whether they are in front of you. And when you get this knowledge, you can actually change your life and your results. The other one is the behavioral flexibility, because of the techniques that we learn, basically the behavioral flexibility creates a different behavior in front of people, the different language, the different way of how we come across to people. Just by changing the states in 1 minute, 2 minutes, or 3 minutes, what we learn in NLP. And then lastly, it also gives us the result-based thinking. What NLP says is there is no word called impossible. Whatever we do is the feedback to us. And if one thing doesn't work, we try something else. If we see the failure, it's a feedback. We try something else and something else and something else till the time we are able to get success. So what we are talking about in NLP is nothing new. This is what we have read in our scriptures, in our religious scriptures, in all the books that we have read in our during our academic days. It is the same thing, but it is a structured process with the real-time techniques, which are 2 minutes or 3 minute techniques, which actually changes your life. So NLP rule number 2, or the NLP rule, frame number 2, is 100% responsibility for results. A lot of people don't believe in NLP because they say it doesn't work. A lot of people don't believe in law of attraction and they say it doesn't work. The only time these things don't work is when you do not take 100% responsibility for your results. Now you might say, it is not my 100% contribution to this result. It is my 10% or 20%. It could be in a relationship, or it could be at work. It could be a tangible result. I agree. You may have a 10% impact on that result, or 20 or 50. But for that 20%, you need to take 100% responsibility, that you have to change that 20%. If you work on your 100% of the 20%, that is the only time things will change. Okay, so how NLP works. And this is an interesting thing about the communication model. Now, how NLP works is basically 3 areas, okay? So mind works on generalization, deletion, and distortion. You will be surprised to know that we receive 11 million bits of information every moment. 11 million bits. Do you think it is possible for a normal brain to process all of this information? So what does the mind do? How does it help us? It deletes a lot of information. It generalizes some of the learning and it distorts some of the information. And here I'll give you an example. So Rahul is driving a Mercedes. That's his new car. Earlier, he was driving a Ford Explorer. Now, do you think when he buys a new car, he has to learn driving again? So mind generalizes. If you learn driving once, you can drive any car with a little bit of learning, right? So that's called generalization. And then there are so many activities happening on the road. So there are different kind of vehicles going around, the different noises, there's radio on in your car. And what does the mind do? It deletes a lot of information. It doesn't let it process in your mind, otherwise you lose your focus from driving. So that's what mind does. And what else happens in the mind? So for example, Rahul is driving and he sees less traffic on the road. His mind starts to think, oh my God, there's layoffs happening because of this economy, because of COVID-19. And then he goes to office and starts talking about this. Or, you know, there was so less traffic on the road. I knew it. There's not going to be many cars because of layoffs happening. And I read this news. So mind starts to distort the information. Now, the distortion can happen either in a positive way or in a negative way. So what is the communication model of NLP? Now, as I was giving you example of COVID-19, and I would take the same example. And I would give an example of our good friend Rahul. So when the news of COVID-19 started spreading, Rahul got worried for his sales with the customer. He started panicking. And this is the external events and inflow, you know, the arrow in red. Basically, we hear something, we get a stimulus from outside, and we started to either distort or generalize or delete. For example, we hear that this is coronavirus happening here, and then we might generalize, oh, the economy is going bad everywhere, but it may not happen everywhere. So Rahul got this news and he got worried for his sales and his customer. He started panicking. He had lost his job in 2008 recession. So his new beliefs were formed after that. And his beliefs was that a global recession could lead to a job loss. And therefore there'll be an impact on the family. His values had also changed after 2008 recession. And he always valued job as his biggest value. And he never acquired any new skill. He never thought of any backup option. For example, entrepreneurship or something else, or freelancing during such times when he would be hit by the economy. So his value was always a job. His language became, because of this news, his language became of criticism. He started micromanaging, and he would always talk ill about the authorities, about the people, and convince himself that he is in a victim mode. So his mind filtered information that was similar to his own values and beliefs. He surrounded himself with the same kind of people, and his internal representation was the same as his values and beliefs. Because after 2008, he had negative values and negative belief about this situation. So his internal emotional state became of anxiety, of worry, of depression, and that started to reflect in his physiology. So when he will go to office, his shoulders would be drooping, his discipline went down, he was not committed to his work, and it reflected in his behavior and eventually in his performance. And guess what had happened? So when the manager was asked to remove people, even though he was a better performer earlier, his name was the first and he lost his job. What he could have done instead, if he would have taken the situation and he changed his belief system and he changed his state, if he had added more energy, more discipline, more commitment to his performance, more motivation to his team, that would have been noticed by the people in the company, and he would still have been kept, probably if that was a possibility. So if there were two people and there was only one job, the person who was seen as spreading negativity in the organization would be the one who will lose his job. So that is how the communication model works inside us. So cause versus effect basically says, are you in a victim mode or you are a change agent? Now, what is law of attraction? Law of attraction is basically three things. Yeah, so there are three steps that this law tells us. So law of attraction is basically what we think becomes true. Yeah, so our thought becomes things. Now, how does it work? There are 3 steps. We ask the universe. So what I do every day I get up, if I don't know who to ask, I say, I just raise this question. I create this intention in the universe. So what is the next step? Guide me to the next step. Even if you don't know anything at all. I start my own business and I absolutely do not know. For example, I'm just giving an example. What I would say is, oh, what's my next step? And the universe will give you the answer. You just have to be very observant through a phone call, through somebody who has not spoken to you for the last 10 years, and you'll get this call and you will get your answer through that phone call. So you have to ask and then you have to believe. Now, I'll give you an analogy. When you go to a restaurant and you order a dish out of the menu, do you wonder whether you'll get it or not? No, you're sitting there relaxed. All that you could say to the manager is, "Go, can you bring it quicker?" And that's it. And you know the chef is preparing it and you'll get your dish. You don't question it. You don't question your order. And this is how the universe works. You know, you just order and forget about it. And then you have to receive as if. You have to fake it till you make it with all your emotions. It is the emotions that creates the reality. Now, have you heard of this story of the Solomon Island? The story of the Solomon Island was narrated in the movie Tare Zameen Par, if anybody has seen that Bollywood movie, very interesting movie for the kids. And in this island, which is down Australia, I think, the trees grow with memories and love and blessings. And when the people, they want to cut a tree, what they do is they start to gather on the tree, and for 14 days, they will give it a curse and they'll yell and they will shout. And what happens is the tree starts to fall down and they get the log of the tree. So they don't really cut the tree. They just throw the negative emotions to the tree. So what is the learning? Again, as in the rice experiment by Dr. Emoto, our emotions are impacting everything around us. So when it is impacting a tree, it is impacting rice. Can you imagine how it is impacting us and the results and our life? Now, this is a very, very interesting picture, and I love this. Do you know that everything is a frequency? When we switch on the radio in the car, how does it tune to 97.3 FM or 103.8 FM? There is a frequency that is emitted. This is quantum physics. So every emotion has a frequency. The negative emotions have a low frequency and the higher positive emotions have a higher frequency. 1000 plus is the frequency of God's consciousness. So what is to be learned out of this slide? So if you're angry, at what frequency are you? You're at 150 and you tune in, hello? You tune into the same frequency and you get attached to the people who have the same frequency. So if you are in a victim mode, you will always attract the people who are in the victim mode. You gossip and then you attract more and more and more. And what happens then? You are validating your state. You lose your job and you speak to other people who may have lost their jobs. And then you start talking negative of the people, the reasons why you would have lost your job. There was politics, blah, 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 blah. And you attract more of such people. Now, I have something to say here. If I tell you, you have 30 days, okay? You have 30 days. On the 30th day, you will get the results of what you will do in these 30 days about your job. Either you will get a job or you won't get a job. So what will you start doing in these 30 days? So if during these 30 days, you still think it's okay to speak up negative about this job insecurity, all these negative emotions, and criticize the people in your life and blame others, you keep doing it, what result you'll get on the 30th day? No job. On the contrary, you use these 30 days and emit a frequency of love and joy and praise and gratitude and thankfulness. Thanks for the platform that you had in your last job, which developed your skill, what you learned in your last job, and pay gratitude to everyone. Call people, network, attract those kind of people. And those people tell others that, hey, yeah, I met somebody very positive and she's looking for a job, and why do you have something for her? Instead, if you were talking negative, what would they remember about you? And guess what will happen on the 30th day? You will get a job. So if you remember this, you will always be tuned to the higher frequency emotion, and that is what we ought to do. So this is the law of attraction. What story are you telling the universe and to yourself? So we have two types of stories. One, a self-talk, and the other one is to the people. And the story can be told not just by your words, by your body language, by emotions. Even if people are not seeing you, they are in another country, you try this. You think positive about them and you will get the positive vibrations. You send negative vibrations, you will get negative vibrations from them. So I loved this so much, I decided that I wanted to create a model to summarize this NLP in a box such that I can help people easily understand this. And I created this 3x3 model. It's not mine, but it is just a structured way of telling people. Now, this is my favorite quote that I have learned from the gurus of NLP. If you always do what you have always done, you will always get what you've always got. Let me repeat it. If you always do what you've always done, you will always get what you've always got. Isn't that true? So you want to get different results, do something different. Okay, so the topic that I take here is the job insecurity that some of us might be able to relate, or at least we can relate to the fear that we have because of the economy that's coming down, or economy that's the pandemic situation, the global economy. Now, I would want you to notice few things here. One is three areas of work. One is speak, feel, and do. Yeah, these are also our senses. Speak, feel, and do. And the other area is on the horizontal axis is the process, challenge, solution, and action. Okay. So on the first box, if you say, now what I'm trying to say, I'll explain you, and I'll take the example of our good old friend, Rahul. Now let's look at the first box of challenge in all the three areas. We'll look at the challenge in all the three areas. Challenge in language. So the challenge we have here is job insecurity. Okay. And what language Rahul started to speak? What will happen to my job and family? Now, he had only heard about COVID-19. There was no issue at all. But what will happen to my job and family? The market is in recession for next 2 years. The economy is going down. The cases are going up. The cases are going down. And he would track all the time. And this is the language he was using, which created the feelings of anxiety, frustration, loss of confidence, depression, sadness, hopelessness, and helplessness. It does create that. And we may say, and it is true as well, that these are human emotions. It is human. It is natural. But the most challenging part is to get out of that. Anyway, taking you to the next box. The other challenge, so we have three challenges. So my point here is this: whenever you have any challenge, whether it's relationship, it is job, or it is money, what you need to do is look at all these three areas. Okay. So in terms of do, you have to look at what are your actions which are contributing to this challenge. So Rahul started to take panic actions, which I was giving an example. His voice and energy, his discipline, his commitment to the job was so low that he couldn't really he get out of it. And he was giving a message to his colleagues and his managers that I'm not committed anymore. So this is what happens. So whenever you have a challenge, look at these three areas: challenge in your language, challenge in your emotions, challenge in your actions. And then we move on to the solution. And then Rahul came to me, and then we started to work on the solution. And that is why we said we need to ask. You ask the universe, you seek help. Don't stop there. Don't feel that you have to feel shy in asking. If you don't ask, you'll not be given the solution. So in terms of the language, we started to work with Rahul, and we decided to work on a solution that would work for him. Every person has a different solution. And we wrote down all his limiting language. So the limiting language that we saw, what will happen to my job, the market is in recession. And we wrote down the limiting language and started to rewrite the sentences in affirmations. And in another slide, I'll talk about affirmation. So he stopped using don'ts. He stopped using certain words and he started saying, I am doing. So he started changing his vocabulary while he was speaking. He created a different environment. He started going around with people and talking to the people who were rarely giving him a lot of empowerment and encouragement. He changed his connections, even if it is your blood relations, because if they are bringing down your energy, at that point of time, you don't need that. You speak with them lesser and lesser. So the tough part was the next box, which was changing the emotions. So changing the emotions was difficult because all of us have a problem in changing the emotions. It is easier to act than changing the emotions. So he learned many NLP techniques, and there are some very quick 3 or 4 minute NLP techniques that quickly changes the emotions, and it removes the negative emotions and replaced with positive emotions. So he surrounded himself with the right people with right emotional strength. And then we decided to take some positive actions, and he got to start finding the jobs, applying, be more visible on the social media. And then it was time for the action. So he started using stop and start words. On the speak area, his actions were practice empowering language. So here I'll tell you here is the technique. So when you say you have some negative emotions, and you instruct your subconscious mind, stop sending those negative emotions. Stop sending negative language. Stop it. Stop it. If you tell your younger brother, it'll listen. It's like the genie of the magic lamp. Whatever you say will come true. And then when you say start to bring me positive vibrations, positive people, job opportunities in front of me, the subconscious mind will move you and the universe will direct you to get that. And that's true. And then the next box about action and the feelings, the best was when Rahul could change his emotions in 3 to 4 minutes through the NLP techniques. He started practicing gratitude and meditation because when he removed his emotions, it became very easy. And he started using self-coaching model because every time you can't go to somebody else. And then he started his day with jogging, running. He would just wear his sneakers and started jogging. Now, if changing your emotions is difficult for you, what you could do is change your physical activity. So what you could do, you know what I did before I came into the training? I did jumping jack. Yeah, I would do some of my actions, which is powerful actions. So in the back pocket, you have some of your powerful actions, which changes your emotions quickly. So doing physical activity is far easier. So NLP rule number 4, results versus excuses. Now we say reasons, we always have reasons, we always have defenses, but NLP says it is always excuses. You get whatever feedback you get or whatever results you get, it's a feedback. And then you do something else, change your strategy, change your action, and that will help you moving forward. So now we'll come to the powerful NLP techniques. So I am today taking up 2 or 3 techniques, yeah, which are very quick to do. And if you all want, you can think about your challenge and you can follow these techniques while I'm telling you. You can start doing this and you will actually see the difference while you're doing it. Now the first one is change the dimension. Now how does it work? While I'm talking about changing the dimension technique, I will also tell you one smaller technique, which is about associated or dissociated. So this is what you do. Now you see some emotions here, positive and negative, and I will take an example in this technique about changing scared emotion to excited emotion. Okay, so we'll change the scare to excited. Now, whenever you have a negative emotion of scared or sadness or angry, what you do is, with any technique that you can think of, do you know that I have learned to create new NLP techniques every day, because it has become a game for me. It is so magical. It is so miraculous. I love it. And you can do it. So what you have to do is, whenever you have a negative emotion, you have to go as far as possible from that. And the first thing you do is cut yourself off, distance yourself. So what you do is, you can actually virtually cut it with a scissor. You can burn it. You can all do it virtually, or you can drown it into the sea water, because sea water, the salty water, is healing. So what will you do? Now, when you change the dimension, what you do is, I will ask you if you have fear or scare of anything in life, and in this case, we'll say job insecurity, that you have lost your job, you will lose your job, economy is going down, you might lose your salary, you might lose your benefits. What you do is, I will ask you, put all of that emotion into a shape. All right. Now, imagine whatever shape it is. Okay. So it could be round or circle or whatever. It could be like an amoeba shape. It could be like coronavirus shape or anything, whatever you can think of. Okay. Now see, where is the distance? Whenever any emotion is on your mind, whether it's an excited or scared or you're angry, that emotion, the distance is normally very close to you, close to your face. It's up on your face. So in this case, you might have fear or scare in front of your face. Now look at the size of that emotion. And normally the size is very big. Yeah, it's really huge. Okay. And you will see, notice the sounds, notice the movements. And it seems real, it's video, it's like a real movie going on. And you might see yourself into that picture. So are you seeing yourself into that picture? Or you are away from that picture? Normally, when you're impacted by that emotion, you are into that picture. So this is the current picture. Now, what do you do? How do you change it to excited? So what do you do with this emotion? To remove this emotion, this is what you do. Step number 1. Push it, push it, push it, push it far from you. Okay? Throw it, make it very small. You fold it. If it was whatever shape it was, just fold it virtually and fold it again and again and again and again until it becomes very small, as much as it can fit into your fist. Okay? And then you throw far into the sea. Alternatively, you can throw into a fire and watch and observe the scare emotion burning, actually burning, and then getting burned to ashes. And then you pick up those ashes and put it into the sea. And now is the time. So this emotion is gone. If it doesn't happen in one time, repeat it, repeat it, repeat it, and it goes off. It actually goes off. So you can do it with anger, sadness, hurt, guilt, any emotion. Now you want to bring up the excited emotion or confidence, emotion of confidence. So what do you do? So where is the excitement right now? It's far off, because you had the scare. So this excitement, this emotion, find out the shape. It may be round, it may be square. Now bring it forward, bring it up on your face. Amplify, magnify, enlarge it. Add a lot of noise and voice and excitement and celebrations. Add a lot of colors to it, blue, red, pink, and watch it as a movie and associate. So whenever you have a negative emotion, you dissociate, you cut yourself off it. And whenever you are having you want to bring the positive emotion, you associate and amplify it. See it as a 70mm movie and you enter that movie. And if it's like a piece of cloth, if it is soft, wrap it around yourself the way Spider-Man wears his Spider-Man, what do you say, the dress, Spider-Man dress, that is how you wear excited dress or confidence dress into your body. You slip into it, you get into the movie. So this is one very powerful technique. Now there is a language technique. So there is a language that hurts. What is your limiting language? What is your language that hurts you? What is the language that hurts the universe? And what is that language that is bringing negativity into your life? The language that hurts is, I'm not good enough. I don't have digital skills. I don't have any extra skills. I don't have connections. I don't have network. I don't have that nationality. My skin color doesn't allow me to get that job. There's politics, blah, 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 blah. And you are emitting that low frequency language. So how can you change it? And these are the rules of the good language, the affirmations. So change your language. So rule number one, when you change your language, it has to be in present tense. Because if you say, I will get a job, tomorrow again you say, I will get a job, and I will get a job. The vibration, the language, the message that's going into the universe is, I will, which the will never come if tomorrow never comes. So you have to say, I have got this, either in the past or in present. I am getting this. And then you say it in the night, always to yourself, and in the morning. In the night, because your subconscious is resting, so there is no distraction and disturbance, and the processing happens faster. Create an affirmation journal. Keep writing every day. Do not use not or don'ts, and add a time. So here is an example. I don't think I'll get a job soon. This is a hurting language, a limiting language, and you change it to, I have received the employment offer from a multinational company by 31st July 2020 for AD, blah, blah, whatever number comes to your mind, and say it and write it. There has to be time in it, there has to be a number in it, there has to be present tense in it, and there has to be very specific. It has to be very specific, okay? And that's how it works. And the last and the most powerful technique is the visualization. So I'll take just 5 more minutes. I know we have finished this 1 hour, and then I'll open the platform for the questions if you have any. So visualization, people come to me, and I do a lot of career coaching, especially to millennials and the people from all walks of life, but a lot of the people who are into the professional journey, 5 years, 10 years, some even who have completed 25, 30 years. And then one common thing that I see is the language is hurting. Their thoughts are limiting. The belief systems, the values, everything has gone, dipped down. So I ask them one thing, do you dream? Do you know how to dream? And they say, yes. You know what? I actually can't focus on anything because I'm dreaming. I said, what are you dreaming? And they say, I'm dreaming negative things. And the younger generation, they say, I'm dreaming about something really which is impossible. So in NLP language, there's nothing impossible. So I say to them, you know what? If you're dreaming, that's good news, because visualization is dreaming. NLP is all about visualization. So what do you do when you visualize for a job? So this is what you do. You imagine, say, as I had mentioned before, you imagine, and in everyday life, so NLP in everyday life, you will learn from the examples I give you. So it's not something, a special event, a special occasion, a special time you have to sit and do it. No, you can do it at any point of time. So for a job, I'll give you some examples. Imagine papers lying around you are offer letters. So you're doing 2 things. One, on an everyday life, whatever you're seeing, and you're using your imagination to get your result, to get your goal. And you create a folder, keep all the papers as if you are getting the job offers, and then you will make your choice. Can you imagine that situation? Celebration with the family. You are imagining when you get your job offer, you're celebrating with your family. Who is the person you are giving the news to first? Probably your spouse or your children, your parents, or whoever. Enter into the state of getting the job. And then you're imagining, you have to be very, very specific, add all the details. You are going to that company. It's your first day into the organization. Your orientation is starting. You're saying hello to the HR. You meet your team. What is that 1 minute introduction you will give about yourself to everyone? And then what is the motivational speech that you're going to give to your team who you're going to meet? What will be your learning style? What dress you will wear? What area that company will be in? What will be the ambience? What will be the furniture? How will your chair and desk be placed in that room? How will be your room? What will be the view from your room, from your desk? How will you plan your future from that learning experience? What will be your first weekend after joining the work? How will you celebrate? How will people see you? What help they will come to you for? What will you do for the people who have lost a job, and how will you guide them? What are those 10 steps you will write for people? What is that video you will make to help people? What will you write on your social media when you get your offer letter, when you have joined the job? And so on and so forth. This is visualization. Now, can you feel the smile and the excitement and the positive emotions while I am telling you this? Now, the trick here is this. When we are in the low frequency, we are in the negative emotions, we need an external intervention to pull us up, because it's difficult for us to pull ourselves up. So you need somebody else. So it can be your allies, your friends, your family, your whoever you feel comfortable with, who is also in the same wavelength and understand these things. So rule number 5 is feedback versus failure. Anything that comes to you, so if you've lost your job, let's say, it is a feedback. You have to do something differently and do something differently. Yes, it is true, it is because of the external conditions, but it is also because of something that you could have done differently. So change your strategy, change your action, change your steps. Okay, so this is the last slide. What will you? My question to you is this, and I would want to see in the chat box, or we'll probably keep the platform open for questions. What will you speak and feel and do? These are the 3 areas you have to focus on differently when you leave this room today, this session today. And I do my coaching, my career and success coaching. As I mentioned to you, after 23 years of experience, I've become an entrepreneur. These are my social handles, my contact addresses, emails, numbers. I can be contacted anytime. And I do training courses in not only the corporate areas, I am the people development professional, but also in the life transformational areas. And my new free webinar is coming, a 1-hour webinar on 4th of July, 2020. So you can tune into LinkedIn for finding out the time and register as well. So that's it from my side. Thank you, everyone. I hope you liked the session and there were some takeaways and you enjoyed it.
Thank you so much, Nishi. Really amazing session. And, I am myself, I don't know, subconsciously a positive thinker. And I have experienced this in my life personally, that, positive thinking helps. And during the lockdown also, I was always talking to people, and within our group, we were sharing a lot of positive messages. So I think you have just done the affirmation for the same and really put it to us in a very scientific manner. Nishi, there is a question from one of our, senior members, Mr. Krish, who will ask this question, Krishna Swami Krishnamurthy.
Thank you, Shailene.
Yeah.
Thank you for the positive words. Yes, Krish.
Thank you, Nishi. I actually, I joined in late. It's my loss. So, but whatever I heard, it was an excellent session. Thank you for that. I had one question, Nishi. It's always said that your dreams and your affirmations, you should always write it down. So what I wanted to ask is, should it be written once and read daily, or should it be written daily? Because I'll be very honest, writing it daily, I'm very lazy. it's very difficult for me to very difficult for me to put my pen to paper and write affirmations and dreams daily. So I just wanted to ask your advice. What is the most effective or powerful way of reaffirming your affirmations on a daily basis and dreams, according to you?
Okay. It's a very, very powerful question, I would say, and I think we'll address it to everyone. Everyone would want to hear the answer and know the answer. Yes, you're right. It is, all of us are lazy to change, because we are in a comfort zone. Now, my question to you would be this: what message do you want to give to the universe? Now, if you write down once and forget about it, what message are we giving to the universe? Be casual about it. So what will universe reply to you or give to you? So if universe had 100 jobs, they say, who will get those 100 jobs? The most powerful and energetic person who's writing his journal every day. So I have a journal, it's a gratitude and affirmation journal. On left hand side, I put the gratitude for the blessings. So they say, if you want a job, bless those people in your prayers who are looking for a job and help others. And that will attract those blessings for you. And the other side of the journal, I write affirmations. And the affirmations is a very quick way of changing our limiting language and our limiting beliefs. And it actually changes. So daily is the thing to do. To get the faster results you want, the more you do it. The equation is very simple. It's equally proportional to the frequency.
Yeah, Nishi, thank you. Thank you very much.
I must praise Krish for sending, such motivational messages in the morning. And his messages are so amazing and so different that, sometimes I send some of his messages to my friends and they're really amazed, to read this. And they ask me that, where do you get these messages from? Though I don't disclose that I'm stealing it from Krish, but he's a great motivator,
Excellent. So you're already into it. So you are not lazy. You're not lazy.
No, we have been helping within our group of supply chain managers where, we have more than 450 plus right now. We have been helping each other, knowledge sharing. Unfortunately, a lot of us have lost jobs. So we are helping people with jobs, referring here and there. So a lot of work is happening within the group, So a lot of positive work we are also doing,
Yeah, Samir was mentioning that some people have even got a job through these educational seminars that you're organizing, which is amazing.
Yeah, at least it creates a connect, it creates a positive vibe, and we are sharing a lot of, jobs within whatever we know, whatever is coming.
Right.
I think there's another question which I would want to take, and Jolas, I hope I'm pronouncing it right, had a question. Jolas, can you unmute yourself and ask the question? Or I'll read out his question. What he's asking is, Miss Nishi, in light of, can you ask?
Hi. Yes, sir. Thank you so much for giving me a chance. Yes, I have been in such a situation where I can observe that the current community or surroundings that we have is having their negativities about the current pandemic and situation. My question would be that what would be a better priority to help them change or create positivity among them, or me going out of the current environment and look for a new peers who are positive, who can help me out first?
Okay. Absolutely amazing question, Jolas. This is one question people come to me when they come for coaching and they say, Nishi, can you coach us and help us to change my husband? Or my boss, or my this one, or my child. And the first principle is you can only change yourself. You cannot change others. However, from the change that you've done within yourself is so contagious that people start to change. And you would have seen, all of you would have seen this. We all do it. So, Jolas, my answer to you is this. When you start to not engage or stop engaging in those negativities, on those conversations, in those gossips about politics in the company, and reframe and add on a positive sentence from your side, people will notice the difference. They will stop talking that language in front of you. You might know some people, even if you say negative in front of them, either they keep quiet or they just change the subject. And we know they are not accepting to the negativity or negative language. And then we don't repeat it in front of them. So you become one of those, and those people will automatically change.
Okay, that's actually a bullseye to my question. Thank you so much, Ms. Nishi. It's very relatable.
Adding to your opening statements, please change my husband. Husbands cannot be changed. Very difficult to change, if you ask my wife. Nishi, there was another question. I don't know whether it is relevant, but I will still put it up to you. Jiboy Varghese was asking that how to meditate in a correct way. So please feel free to say yes, no, or whatever.
Yeah, I have my thoughts on this. Now, when we set bigger goals and we fail, because the goals are not bite-sized, so we have to create, we talk about milestones and smaller goals. So we create bite-sized goals. Now, meditation, most of us are not able to do, because we have heard about meditation as looking on a blank wall and don't think anything. Shut off your thoughts. Do you think it's humanly possible, from having thoughts of all negativity and running at a speed of zillions, at a lightning speed, which our mind does, to go to and shut off the stage? So it's too big a goal for our mind, our poor mind. So we have to take it into bite-sized steps. So the best meditation I say is, if you hear a lot of meditation videos on YouTube also, these gurus, they tell you it's a meditation. If you're just listening to this training with your focused 100% mind, that's a meditation. If you're cooking and adding those positive vibrations, I did not discuss a lot of, there are more than 100 plus techniques in NLP. When you add that positivity and confidence into the food, etc., you're meditating. When you're singing, when you're dancing, that's all meditation. So do what you can do. Do what you're passionate about. Your focus starts to develop. When your focus starts to develop, your mind starts to go into that frame of meditation. So this is meditation. Meditation is not a big game. So start small, start half a minute, 1 minute, and then you will automatically start to reap the benefits and you'll get attracted to it.
Okay, thank you. I think, that was a great answer. I was a bit scared. I said this meditation question may not be so relevant, but still, thank you, Nishi, for answering. And
Shukla sir, there is one question. There is one question from Kamran, but I think it's in about, he's asking I would like to ask what the next to further learn, develop and implement the NPL for personal and career growth.
Yeah, Nishi is asking what next.
What next? Okay, so you have to study more. Whatever we want to learn, we have to study more. But if you just follow that 3x3 NLP model that I was talking, and work on 3 areas: speak, do, feel. So take any challenge and think, what is my limiting language? What is my limiting emotion? And what is my limiting action in this particular area? After you have written that down, find out the solutions and take an action. Yeah, so you can team up with somebody who can help you in this, but work in these 3 areas for every challenge. Speak, do, feel. Speak, do, feel.
Hope Mr. Kamran will learn about this. Okay.
Mr. Kamran, the best thing is to contact Nishi. She is the expert in this and she can guide you,
Sure, yeah.
Her numbers she has already shared, and otherwise you can ask from us. And
anybody?
Krish, what was the question that...
No, I think Meenal has a question. So she has not put it in the chat box. Meenal, can you ask your question, please, after unmuting?
Yeah, hi. Good evening, everyone. and it was a wonderful session. Nishi, thank you so much. It was very informative, I must say. And there were some new things today I have learned from this session. So I have a question here. Now that I understand that the subconscious mind plays a very important role into our lives, yeah? So basically, we must acknowledge that subconscious mind kind of influences our conscious mind. Am I right here?
Yeah.
So, okay.
Yeah.
So we are acknowledging that it has a power to get the best out of us or to get the not so best out of us. So my question is, how do I train my subconscious mind in a way that it will always, or probably most of the times, advise me in a positive way or make me behave, or my actions will result in a positive way only? How do I do that effectively?
Okay. So your subconscious mind is the little brother of your conscious mind. It's a genie of that magic lamp. Whatever you say to it, it just does it. Yeah, it's not using its own mind. It is just processing the information, instructions given to it. So it works, whether it derives the best or the worst, it just replays what you are giving it to it. Now, how do you do it? So I would say this: your language, your emotions, and your physiology should actually reflect the goal. So for example, you're looking for a job, but you say, I really don't know, the economy is bad, the market is bad, I am not going to get it. What is the point in giving the CV? These agencies don't help. These people put on a post on the LinkedIn, but there is no job actually. Now you're using this language. Even if it is true, even if the LinkedIn post is not working, or even the agencies are not really able to help you, well, what vibration you are sending to those platforms, to those people? So do you think you will attract a job? So what you need to do is observe, observe, observe. What is the limiting language? What is the limiting feeling, beliefs, your emotions? If you're having negative, see, the best way of finding out what is your state is your emotions. If you say, I am really motivated, do I look motivated? And on the contrary, I say, I'm really energetic. Yes, I can do it. I'm really motivated. Now, what shows your motivation? Your body language. So when you start observing your own emotions, you will know what you're saying. You're lying to yourself. So stop lying to yourself and start working affirmations, gratitude, language, actions, 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 actions. If we just write in our affirmation journal, forget about it, and then just sit and wait. Is it going to happen? And our language is very different when we are speaking to others. So no, it doesn't work half-heartedly. So 100% responsibility of results. And if one thing doesn't work, try something else. Another thing doesn't work, try something else. I know some of the manufacturing companies that I have worked earlier as well as other companies, they started to make hand sanitizer because they are being opportunist. So they are not thinking that, oh no, I make only construction building materials, so I will not make hand sanitizers. So yes, affirmations, gratitude, actions, emotions, observe change, observe change, observe change, and then take the action. So 3x3 model.
Thank you, Nishi.
But then I'm sorry, I just had something building up on that. So when we say that, yes, it is good to have a positive thought. It is good to carry on the affirmations. It is always nice to look on the brighter side of the things. But can it happen that can it happen that we might just fade away from the fact or the reality? I mean, just every time you say very good things, everything will be fine, everything will be fine. But is it like you're training your subconscious mind to accept that something is fine when it's not? Is it like running away from the reality, or am I mixing up?
No, you're absolutely right. Logically, it seems like it seems a bit strange, isn't it? You are in a tough situation and you're saying, I'm excited, I'm excited. However, they say, fake it till you make it. Yeah, so, and this is where NLP helps. If it was so easy, then all of us in the world would have just come out of the negative emotion like this. But this is where NLP helps. You have techniques in your back pocket that you just bring. There's a technique called anchoring. So you bring yourself in a very peak state of excitement or confidence, and you do an action like this. For example, an action like this. And you are sitting in a meeting and you lose your, you lose your confidence. And then you just do an action. I had an action of confidence like this. And a lot of times during the meetings, under the table, I would just do this fist, and I was to bring it back. But then to do that, you have to, there is a technique, so you have to follow. So you have to do these techniques. Otherwise, any change requires practice, right? So you have to practice it and do it. Otherwise, we can go learn. Knowledge is not a change. Practice brings change.
Yeah, that is right. Well said. Well said. Yeah. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much. So if you have any other questions.
Yes, can I?
Yes,
it's not
Simran,
just a
please go
question.
ahead.
I would like to have some input, from my experiences. Well, looking at the kind of, the topics that we have covered here, I'm really very happy, Nishi, to be a part of this session. I was thinking I may not be able to take it forward in this particular timeline, but yes, I was lucky enough to be a part of it. Well, to give you a little bit of input on what we are talking about, hope and making it happen. And even if, like how Minal was about to, explain it to us, that, okay, fine, there are a lot of techniques and things where we could transform ourselves and we can make things look positive and happen in a positive manner too. But if the circumstances are not so positive enough, what to do in that sense? So let me just give you a little, experience that I would like to share. In 2008, I met with an accident and I had broken my right arm into two. And it was a very tragic accident. I went to operation, and after 8-9 hours of me lying on the bed without operation or any other aids, I was being taken into the operation theater and then, been treated. But for the entire year, like 2008 entire year was like a blackout year for me. I wasn't able to move my hand. My fingers were not moving. I couldn't even hold a piece of paper. So it was that situation. And I had a son was just about 12 years of age. And it was very, very tragic situation because he couldn't, survive without me making food for him and things like that. So also I was working, I had to stop working and everything was in standstill, and non-stop was sulking about what happened all of a sudden. But then, this thing started developing in me that I will never be able to drive. I will never be able to write and all these things. So it went in such a level that I was into a heavy depression. Through that, I somehow started gaining, because see, people kept, making fun of me. Some people started, laughing at me because I started getting very much phobic, even about the speeding part, even about sitting in the car and all these things. And then finally, all these things, was taking a toll on my health as well, because everybody around me is giving me negativity that this is how you're going to be, this is how you're going to lead your life. So unfortunately, all these kind of negativity was pressurizing me and my brain and my emotional state. From there, I had to take it from my inner side, to bring it out and make sure that, yes, these things are supposed to be only in my mental, positionings, and I have to get out of it. So slowly and steadily, I got out of it. I started meeting people, which I wasn't doing much. I started getting interacted and also got into a job. I was in real estate then. I was into marketing. So I started hiring people under me. I saw people who were hired under me on a lower position or a lower package was also driving. And then eventually I was going through a pickup van, going back and forth home and office and all. So that's the time when I decided to come out of that phobia. And I decided to go back for driving classes. I got my, the physiotherapy done. I went back home to India. I did my physiotherapy 3 times in a day. Even if I was crying, even if I knew it was not possible, I did it. And then finally, after I can say 1.5 years of all that kind of a tragic phase, where I was literally losing out on the hope that I will ever start using my right arm. I'm now able to hold 15 kgs and more, from that in my right arm. So imagine, me getting into a lowest low condition emotionally of my health, and on a physical level also, I came out and finally was able to deal with it, and finally able to get it done, which I thought it is never possible in life. Imagine if that was the state and I kept on sulking on it, and if I kept on behaving in a manner that, okay, fine, everything is going to be negative, I would have never evolved. I would have never strengthened my hand, my arm, and that showed me a different view, of life, how to approach towards life. And it is us and our inner self who could motivate us much more than the outside world. That's what I feel. So if you think that somebody else will motivate you, if you think, okay, only meditation will motivate you, no, it is inside you. You are the inner initiator of your motivation, and to how to transform yourself, only you could do it better than anybody else. That's what I feel.
Thank you, Simran. I think that's very enlightening and very motivating to hear how you did it.
Thank you so much.
We have come to the end. We don't want to stretch it too much. Nishi, she's been very kind. Samir will say a few words about our website. Please, Samir, go ahead.
Before that, sir, there is one request from Bhushan Kate. I think so. Because he raised a hand, so he wants to ask before we do it. So, Mr. Bhushan, you can go ahead. You can ask the question.
Thank you. I wanted to ask, normally, let's say if a person has a positive outlook towards life, and there is also a cynical side to the person, where, you can get negative at times. So if a person has this kind of a mixed bag, which probably is the case with most, does the negativity deduct from the positive outcomes? And if so, is it proportionate or disproportionate as a result?
Good question. I think I'll have to look at the chemistry reactions and the values of what will be the final reaction. So the universe, the NLP says like this: it is the intention that is followed than the behavior, because people fake up the behavior, and the intention is something else. So it is the intention that impacts. Now, it is very human to become cynical or to become negative about things. However, what we need to do, and that's where NLP comes in, and where practice comes in, we have to come out of that cynicism and those negativities and those surroundings and the environment. Now, does it get cancelled? If you are giving more energy to that cynical, negative aspect, yes, it will get cancelled. So it depends where you are putting more energy. So it's a very simple equation. So it's directly proportional to how much energy, where the energy goes, the things happen. Thought becomes things. So that's my answer to that question.
Thank you very much, ma'am. I just shared my screen that shows our website. People should not get confused. You people can see the screen, right?
Yes.
Yeah, we can see it.
This is the website where we can get everything information related to the procurement, supply chain, logistic, HR, most of the developments, government information. Probably we are trying to cover a lot, so inshallah we will do also. Our sessions will also be we will publish here, and we have a couple of categories over which we are defined our total website, like fast moving consumer goods, government, construction, library, e-commerce, tourism, technology, manufacture. So this is the information which connect to us, complete information related, which is like a knowledge what we are sharing through our website or through our Telegram group. Mostly you will come here, like articles. Most of our group members are writing the articles. These are the articles, like this article today was written by Miss Bala. So this is the article section where we can see all the articles. Like for example, today she has written about the negotiation strategies. So this is the area where we can see complete the information what we missed in our Telegram will be located here. So like this, she keep posted a couple of articles also, and people can give the reply regarding their opinion. And moving ahead, there is a section for our sessions also, like where we are going to load. Actually, we supposed to load couple of things which needed little plugins, which might take little time, maybe 24 hours of time. Already, so tomorrow you can see Miss Nishi's session here, and the negotiation session which is done earlier by Miss Kiran. So here you can see the speaker's name also in author's name. So tomorrow it goes changed here as a Nishi's one, and like this. So if we go in directly into the session, we can see the videos also. So the video will start like this. So
Nishi, I will request you to share some articles for our website.
Sure.
So this will be like this, which we can work on that one. So this way we can give complete sessions whatever we have done earlier. I think totals in 60 sessions we have couple of 20 sessions only we've been permitted, and upon the permission we have recorded. Now these days we are regularly recording. So this is the website. You people can register yourself as a member. Okay, membership registration is there. It's a free, and it's better to have a membership because you will get emails also, notifications, a lot of things you can see from here. Soon we will add more and more. So like this, you can give the government information also, like what is the announcing by the government, which is interlinked. And so hope we covered a lot. So e-commerce is there, most efficient one, which we got it developed earlier. Now we are interconnecting it into the requirements also to the logistic people and the supply people. Inshallah, we will work a lot about this. So the website URL is this one, PSCM. This is our logo. This is our registered logo. You can see that our slogan is there: enable, educate, and empower. PSCMglobal.com is our this is our domain. Thank you very much, and I'm just signing off now. So
thank you, Sameer. Thank you so much. And that brings us to the end of our session. And Nishi, we were all spellbound. Most of the people didn't leave throughout, almost for 1.5 hours. Thank you, all the attendees, and keep attending our webinars. We are trying to keep you engaged, and do register on our website as requested by Sameer. I think overall we had a good time. I hope, Nishi, you enjoyed also the presenting to us.
I loved the session, especially the participation and all the questions. It is my favorite subject. So thank you, Shailin, so much for the opportunity, and all of you for attending it and listening to me. And yeah, some people think it's not a tangible thing, it's philosophy, but I share it with people, and I think it turns around life. So I love it.
I think anybody has any other further questions, please reach out to Nishi directly. And she's a coach and a guide and a mentor. She can help you in some way or the other. Or if you want to do these sessions in your own organizations, you can get in touch with her.
Yeah, we will provide the phone number and connection, email ID, everything in our website as well as in our group. So
yeah, that's good. That's good.
Okay. So Nishi ma'am, thank you very much once again, and we hope to see you soon again and again. And we love to have your articles in our website also, so that people will be very near to, and I believe that everyone likes it. Inshallah, by tomorrow we can post it your webinar also over the online, and we will share you the same Google link, so that you can Google Drive link, so that you can share with your LinkedIn, wherever you want to publish, you can publish it. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Sameer. Thank you so much, and good night, everyone.
Thank you, Nishi.
Have a nice
weekend.
Thank you
so much.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Thank you so much,
You
Nishi.
all. Good night.
See you. Good night.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Good night, everybody.